Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers, let's go.
Hey, this is Mariah May, the glamour, but you knew that. And you're listening to Can Crushers.
Welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. We apologize for last week. We'll get to that. That's Sir Michael Jenks. I'm Mark the Mark. We are jazzed up on wrestling, water, because it's going to be a long weekend for some of us, pointing at myself, and life.
Yeah.
Just life.
Life in general. I mean, it's happening. How are you doing, kind sir?
I am okay. The intro always sounds better, though, until you ask me this question. And I know it's coming all the time.
Yeah, it's not a surprising question.
I know. It's not a surprising question. Each and every week, how are you? And it is what it is. And I hate, actually, Jenks, as we sit here and talk about this, I'm starting to hate that quote. It is what it is. Because you could use it good, bad, or ugly, but I don't like it anymore. Because I don't want is to be is in what it is.
Yep. I get what you're saying there, because it just seems like you're giving up on it. You know what I mean? You're just giving up on whatever the situation is. I've always thought it was just, to me, it's kind of a bullshit quote. At some capacity.
Exactly.
It's a bullshit quote, and it shouldn't be. It is what it is. You try your damnedest, try your hardest, things will work out. Sometimes it's not in your favor, but sometimes things will work out. I mean, it's just how we progress through things, and we don't give up on them. So I get it.
Yeah. And essentially last week, I didn't watch a lick of wrestling last week. I didn't watch Bash of Berlin until later this week. I watched nothing during the week. It was a week of self-deprecation. No, it was a week of self-guidance that I clearly needed a week. I needed a week, and this light's pissing me off right now, by the way, Jenks, if you can see.
I can.
It was a week of, I don't want to. I went through life and I did my job. I did household duties. Everybody's fed, yada, yada, yada. I didn't want to have to watch wrestling in the mind state that I was in, essentially. Yeah. I didn't want to be forced to watch it. I didn't want to associate it with any negativity that I have going on, so on and so forth. So I took a mental break on a lot of stuff, but I picked up a couple books, which made me have to power slam, pile drive, 5 power bomb. I don't know. Any reference in wrestling that you can make, a lot of wrestling in a couple days, because I've been so involved in these books to repair myself. And I will tell you, I've always waved this flag. Therapy is 100% an amazing thing. I personally, not a paid sponsorship, not a paid ad, none of that. This is a real life, let Mark talk for a second. Better Health has been 100% amazing for me.
Yeah.
It's the app. I can FaceTime, I can call, I can text anytime that I'm having an issue. And God damn it, I mean anytime.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Somebody's there
That's amazing.
really quick. You know, I'm not going down that line or anything of what September is. And we'll get on that.
Yep.
It's just, I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a question that's not going to put me back to sleep. I have learned now I need to attempt to solve it or work with somebody to solve it. There's no more, I can't overthink anymore because, man, I don't like Jenks's glasses. They're too square for me. I should really tell him that he looked better in circle glasses or don't. Because you can't move on from stuff like that. You can't. I can't. I'll put it that way.
No,
so Better Health has been amazing. I've had some friends say, hey, try this book. It's kind of like a read workbook as well. You do stuff in it.
Okay.
That's been pretty cool. Just a couple exercises I do to kind of get my mojo Raleigh working again. So trying to keep it around wrestling. I'm trying to keep it around.
I like it.
Too. Yeah.
But you're exactly right. Sometimes those questions can linger and become something larger than life, right? And it can consume you if you're not careful with it. So the fact that you're at least acknowledging, hey, let me get this out in the open and all that. And you're acknowledging once again that
we both held up the one.
We did. You're acknowledging that, hey, there's things I need help with and things I need to get off my chest to get past it. There's also things that, might not need to come out or be said, but I understand that. And I understand the way I feel about those certain things. I'm going to cry later because of my glasses, but no, I'm just kidding. But,
that was the first thing I looked at. I'm like, I have to throw him under the bus.
They're also sparkling because the sun's coming in my eye. So it is, I get it. But to your point, it's just one of those, it's a self-learning period. It truly is. You learn more about yourself when it's the worst of times versus when everything's going well. Because at that point, you feel invincible when everything's going well. But when it's the worst of times, that's where you finally learn about yourself and what you need to do, what you can do to help yourself get out of any hole, or, you just learn more about yourself, who you are as an individual. And it's
what trauma has been brought on from childhood. And listen, I love my parents, but I've told a lot of people this. Man, sometimes they're trying to do the right thing. And this isn't shit on my parents whatsoever. One's passed and my dad is living a good life. You think they're trying to do the right things, and then everybody's programmed different. And it's just, I'm not hating them. I really am not. But we get down to meat and potatoes. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to be Ethan's number one reason for when he goes to therapy. So I understand.
You always try to be the person you think you need at the time when you were a child, right? So as you've grown up, you've matured, you do what you need to do. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, everybody, I think my parents did the best job they could. I obviously have grievances. That's fine. Everybody has grievances with whoever they've been raised by, who their parents are, who their siblings are. Good Lord Almighty. There's things out there that you just can't control and you get upset about. It is what it is, and it can. Shit, I said it.
You just said it.
I said it.
Started this whole segment with that.
Because of that, but that's where it comes into play again.
Yep.
Is because we have been trained and learned that, hey, I should just accept it. Accept things as they were and as they need to be. But to our point and to what you've been trying to do with yourself, sometimes it's just talking it out with somebody that's completely not a part of the situation. And you get that outside perspective.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'll throw her out there. Jenna, that's all I know her by, is my therapist. And I couldn't, I've seen her face, but I'm glad I've never met her. I'm glad I didn't go to college with her, have a beer with her, because she's getting more than, listen, I love you, I love my best friends and everything. It's just nice for her side because you love me. Jenna doesn't love me, and I don't mean it like that. She probably cares for me that I'm well.
Right.
You are a man love.
Yeah.
But you understand where I'm going.
I know where you're going because I have a bias for you.
Right. Yes.
Your friends, your family, whoever it is, will have a bias for you. Just like I know everybody that knows me may have a bias for me. Great, bad, whatever it is, however I've crossed their lives, they have a bias. And that's fine. But it's that neutral party, that person that's never met you, that can give you the realest look of, I'm clear.
You're fucked up in the head, guy.
Gotta figure it out. They have a clear as water view of you, where your family, friends, lovers, whatever it is as clear as mud, because that mud is muddied by that water that is muddied by the dirt, which is their love for you. God, I'm getting really deep on this, but you get what I'm saying. It's really dirtied up when you have that bias from a lot of people.
So that's our Better Health ad. Just throwing that out there. Not a paid ad. We're just telling you, I am telling you, use it. It's unbelievable. Jenks, a lot has happened in the professional wrestling world, and we'll get to that. But something that we both loved happened this past weekend. Loved it. Probably your arch nemesis. I have taken him to multiple national championships and got tired of being there. They will not be getting a national championship in real life this year because of what happened.
What's sad is they've only lost once, and NIU might, but they might. As much as I hate saying that, you never know.
So you're telling me if NIU, by the way, we're talking about the Notre Dame loss to NIU.
Yeah, we love this.
Yeah. You're telling me if NIU ends up top 25, Notre Dame could still, if they run the gamut the rest of the way, be in for the national championship.
Yeah, probably.
Fuck you. Because if they lost to NIU, they're losing again this year.
Well, here's the thing. NIU's 2-0. If they rank in the top 25.
Too, by the way.
That's fair, but if NIU ranks in the top 25 and they're the highest conference champion from a non-Power 5, they get in the playoff. So NIU does, and if Notre Dame doesn't lose out, and because let's be honest, there's a bias for Notre Dame in a lot of these things, Notre Dame just walks right through. Notre Dame is allowed to get the 5th seed overall.
All right. So, you off your high horse?
Yeah, let's fucking celebrate that they lost, though.
Right, because I was going to say, is NIU going to do that? We've hit a wall of realism now.
Well, but it's the MAC. Maybe they can. MAC action. It's MAC action, baby. This is what we love. This is why MAC is the indie darlings.
Daddy. Yeah,
they're the MAC. They're the indie darlings of the non-power group.
All right, I'll give you NIU then.
Okay.
I'll give you that. They could run the board. There's no possible way Notre Dame just lost to NIU, and we're not throwing shade on NIU. We are actually waving their flag.
Yeah.
But they just lost to NIU, and they haven't hit any of their big opponents yet. I'm telling you, they're losing more than...
Yeah, who did they play the first game? I don't even know who Notre Dame played.
Me and you.
Yeah.
I think.
I completely agree. I was just giving them the benefit of the doubt there. Now we talk realism, but they have the crux of, I think, the ACC, right? That's pretty much what their schedule is going to be. So I don't think they can pull anything out of no, there's no...
Five are dropping out shortly.
They're going to maybe escape with only 3 losses, because I'm not going to count Florida State, because Florida State is something else. You got USC. Louisville's on that calendar. Purdue has a penchant for just pulling out of nowhere and fucking people up.
It's the Indiana rivalry, essentially.
Exactly. And then, they have Army, Navy, whatever. There's still 3 other viable options that could kind of turn their world upside down.
Yeah. And I think they will. Yeah. I really think they will. Sticking with college football, Pitt 2-0. As you guys are listening to this, myself and a buddy are heading down to the Backyard Brawl. Tickets are sold out. 1.5 million people are going to be jammed into Heinz Field. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Very worried. That's game talk. I'm very worried. What's going to happen?
After last week's performance, it's so against Cincinnati, they escaped, but
I'm hungry as well. Like, I really want Permane Brothers for breakfast tomorrow morning. So,
if you get down there early enough, you can do it.
No, we won't. Well, no, that it's not a. You could do it.
It's what's going to happen.
Yes. Icy Light and Permane Brothers first thing on a Saturday morning. Then heading to the Backyard Brawl 8 hours later. What shenanigans can I get into? There's a pirate game going on. They're playing the Royals.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could. How many people are going to be at the pirate game tomorrow?
There's not going to be that many.
Or, since it's a noon game, does everybody go for the first 2 hours and bail? You'll see just the crowd.
The mass. Just like, we're down here, might as well do this. Yeah, because if your only options are, hey, I could take in a live baseball game before the Pitt game.
And it's Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
If you've never seen him,
you'll be in for a treat. But the other flip side of that is I can just get sloshed at any of the bars or the tailgates outside the stadium beforehand. So it's a horse apiece, if you will.
It is. It really is. That's all I got. What do you have to bring into the table?
Oregon plays, it's the Civil War tomorrow. They play Oregon State. Feels a little weird being a rivalry game, and it's not on rivalry week, but it is what it is. Not feeling great about that because Oregon can barely beat Idaho.
Yeah.
Fucking Idaho. They could barely beat the Vandals and then somehow escaped from Boise State at one point. So it's, I'm not holding out hope here, if you will. So we'll see. Oregon State, it's in Corvallis. So that's going to be a tough game to kind of win for them, but we'll see.
That's got a 3, is that a 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock game?
It's a 3:30. It's the same time as the Backyard Brawl. Yeah. But yeah.
The Backyard Brawl used to be, when we were younger, Thanksgiving weekend.
It was that last weekend, same as the Iron Bowl.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad it's not, because it's WrestleCade.
No, that's fair.
But, ready? I'd probably give up WrestleCade to go to every Backyard Brawl. It's just something special.
It's a unique experience. Yeah. No, that's fair.
The downfall is the Backyard Brawl has this year and next year, then it has a 3-year, and I hate this. The amount of money ESPN and everybody's making over the Backyard Brawl, why don't you just, hey, this game has to be played. It doesn't matter. Good, bad, whatever. This is more about Pittsburgh against West Virginia.
Yeah.
The game is insignificant, almost.
Yeah.
Just play it.
And that's the thing, though. It's become about money. I mean, that's why you saw the realignment, and that's why you see these rivalry games go to the wayside. I mean, that's why Texas A&M got dispersed, because A&M wanted more money and went to the SEC. It's or Oklahoma, Nebraska. That was a big fight in the 90s and that. And then when Nebraska went to the Big Ten, it was sayonara, see you later. So we lose all these special rivalry games just because of the conference alignment and schools being like, we don't need it. But
the fans want the rivalry more than
the fans want it because it's special. It's something special about that.
It's like getting paid $1.5 million to go beat somebody up.
Yeah. Why not? Without the cost, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Without losing that money.
Thanks for coming to South Bend.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. We'll pay for your travel. Oh, and we'll give you $1.5 million to beat us.
You know what was the funniest part of the story? I don't know if you heard this, but the NIU coach then offered the Notre Dame coach tips on how they had beaten them so they could improve themselves afterwards.
Oh my God, I did not hear that.
I think he was on the Pat McAfee show when he said it. And I'm like, oh, I mean, that's nice. And let's be honest, that's a good ball coach there trying to help out somebody else.
Right.
But at the same time, to me, I would have taken the help, but also been like, fuck, that hurts.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's like rubbing salt in the wound. Even though with the best intentions, it's like rubbing salt in the wound.
I hope they're best friends now. I hope they can hug it out.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do we have any hot topics in wrestling?
Well, we had PWI. The top 10 was released. So if you have not heard it, I'll go 10-1. And then we can talk about that a little bit. So number 10 was Mystico.
Okay.
Number 9, Gunther.
Let's stop.
Okay.
Number 9 overall. He had a great year. I'm going to be the dick. He had a great year, longest reigning. Because when I think of PWI nowadays, it's about money as well. I don't know if he brought in number 9 money yet.
I would counter that and say his run, because this spans, September to September, whatever it is.
666 days.
Well, no. I meant the PWI list. September to September. Remember, right at the beginning of this calendar year for PWI is when he was having that series with Chad Gable, and that was dominating Raw and drawing viewers to Raw. And I think after that, he was the main focus of Raw for a lot of it. No matter what you say, no matter Seth being there, whatever you think, he was probably either number 2 or he was right around that top of driving viewership to Raw, which is money in its own right.
Touché.
So,
Crow.
I kind of, to that point though, I would expect him to be a little bit higher on this list.
Okay.
But I'm not going to argue about it. Number 8, Moxley.
Yeah. I mean, we can have this money fight back and forth over that, essentially. Couple different companies, money, that's what,
Well, and I think for him, it was more, he was not in the main event picture.
Right.
And I think that takes you down.
Right, exactly.
I know, or even a title picture in general. I know Gunther he was main eventing Raw, but he wasn't in the main event push at that time until he got into the world title picture. But for Mox, until right now, he really hasn't been sniffing around the title that much.
He's been MIA for a while, literally and figuratively. So.
Yep, exactly. All right, number 7, speaking of MIA, MJF. This is 6 months, and they give him 7.
Because he was front-loaded.
Yeah. And then when
I still say he could probably be in the top 5. Probably number 5.
That's fair. And to that point, fast forward to 6 months, he picks right back up with one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Spoilers still to come on this list.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And spoilers that maybe something's coming up with MJF for a while.
Yeah. Ready for 6?
Yep.
Damian Priest.
When I saw this one, I had to go, wow. Because this is mostly his Money in the Bank run.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, they're putting a lot of stock on that. And we fucking shit on his Money in the Bank run. That it wasn't that great. Then I step back, and I'm like, but he did this and that, and he did this and that, and he's doing this. Was it all main event stuff? No. The motherfucker was on TV 17 times a week.
Yeah.
I think a little high. I think top 10 deserving, but I think a little high.
Yeah. If I were to switch, I think I'd switch him and Gunther, in my opinion. But, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He's been the crux. I mean, Judgment Day was the faction on Raw for majority of the year. He led it up until SummerSlam. So, it makes sense. It's what it is right now.
How many times do we say this? This is a drinking game.
Yeah.
This is going to be a drinking game this week for you guys.
And
then somebody let us know next week and ask Can Crushers, by the way.
I hate the phrase, but it's still in my vocabulary. I can't get it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it. All right. Number 5. I was going to do it on purpose that time. Aito. Which makes sense. I mean, yeah. 4, Rollins.
Yeah. Listen, could we say, and people are going to come at me for this, could we say Rollins could essentially be number 1 all the time because he's a workhorse with or without a championship? The stupid-ass song that everybody loves besides me, his showmanship. Like, Rollins has a plight to be number 1 all the time with or without a title.
Yeah.
I just think there has to be a rinse and repeat at some point.
Right.
That he's not there all the time.
Yeah, and let's be honest, we could see whenever he comes back, there could be a reinvention of what Seth Rollins is, because that seems to be the evolution of him.
Right.
So, we'll see. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Not surprising.
I always think he should be number 1.
I agreed. Top 3, though.
Yeah, without a doubt.
When we stocked number 1 and number 2 and 1, it's just where he falls right now in the pecking order. With a new company,
right now in the pecking order. The best thing that you said.
Yep.
Next year,
we're having a whole different conversation.
Yes.
2, pecking order, Swerve. I mean, Swerve was AEW this past year.
Without a doubt.
Yep. And then number 1, if say it together, Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
And meat and potatoes of the Bloodline storyline, which is still part of the storyline, yada, 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 was just, we've said it for years on here now, possibly one of the greatest of all time storylines.
Yep.
Roll into after Mania to, like, right now, some of it's died off, but Cody was so head and shoulders above that he could have fought Shinsuke 17 more times and we were like, all right, we're tired of Shinsuke. But he still would have been up there.
Oh, 100%. He was it. He was the moneymaker for WWE. It was his story. His combination of his story was WWE this year. This is what people wanted. This is what the people wanted. I mean, regardless of the Rock and all of that happened ahead of time, it was Cody. It was always Cody Rhodes. So it was no surprise there.
Yeah.
Do you want to do top 10 color commentators?
I did see this, and I was like, what?
There was a lot that kind of surprised me, especially number 10. If you have not seen this, you're gonna get a kick out of this list, I think. Number 10 was Matt Menard, Daddy Magic.
He's fun. But we're stretching. Don't you think?
I think so, because he was only on when Garcia wrestled, or I think Rampage.
Right.
And it was like,
he's fun.
Are we that desperate, though?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Honest to God, yes.
Yeah, but we're going to have a conversation when we get through 1, because I think I guess he's a color commentator, so it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, I think that's a stretch for the most part. Number 9 was Veda Scott. New
Veda's
Japan.
good. I love
Yep.
Veda. I watch her a lot she does a lot of indie stuff. I do love Veda.
Number 8, Hugo Sabinovich. You guys know him. We love him.
Yep.
AAA right now. 7, Shucky, Ducky, whatever you says. Booker T getting number 7 there. Whack, whack.
I would switch him and Menard. I can't stand
You would
Booker
put
T.
him in, well, that's fair.
I would bump everybody else up.
But Booker T to 10.
Yes.
I got it. Pat McAfee was 6, which
I'm disappointed.
I think that should have been higher.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but that is what it is.
But he's only half of your guy. Let's throw that out there.
That's true. So a lot of these guys are fully dedicated to it. That's only half here. You're right. Number 5 is Taz.
Okay.
4.
Taz could be higher. He just sometimes does get lost in himself.
He does.
Live on air, like we do. He just gets lost sometimes. And you're like, fuck, straighten up. Oh, yeah.
Well, he gets lost, and then I don't know if he's shoot angry half the time at Shivani or not. He gets worked up.
Yeah.
So, number 4 is formerly known as Aiden English. Matthew Renwolt. I think I pronounced that wrong, but that's fine. 3, Caprice Coleman for ROH.
I love Caprice.
I do too.
I've met Caprice a few times down at WrestleCade. He's always, because he's around there, by the way. He grew up with the Hardys. Unbelievable human being. And his commentary is the second greatest thing that he's at in life. Because he will, if he doesn't know you, give his shirt off your back. He's unbelievable. Huge humanitarian. Love him.
Number 2, Wade Barrett. So bad news for him, he's not 1, but
you've been waiting all week for that.
I just had to do it. I mean,
go number 1.
Number 1, strictly because I assume his hatred for Bryan Danielson is Nigel McGuinness.
I think Wade is so much better than Nigel. There's nothing. It's not that I don't not like Nigel.
Yeah,
I like Nigel. He does do a lot of cool stuff. The hatred for Daniel Bryan is great. That's going to pay off. Will we see Nigel after? We'll talk about it when we get there. Yada yada yada. I think Barrett is just that much better.
Yep. I would agree.
Why didn't Corey Graves make this?
That was one that I was going to call out as a big miss to me. But I think it's because Corey had to shift into the lead commentary role on SmackDown for 6 months while they figured out the Pat McAfee situation. And now that they brought Tessitore on, he falls back into that color commentator. But to me, if you're including Pat for 6 months of the year, Corey should have been included for his contribution of 6 months of the year.
Right.
Or whatever that ended up being.
If you included Menard in this list.
But denied Corey, that just seems totally as a massive miss on their part.
And I guess it's because they're the color guys compared to the lead of Excalibur or Shivani or Cole.
Yes.
Yada, yada, yeah. So.
Yep. So that was the list. That was color commentating, and it made the list. One other hot topic from wrestling world, and then I got something to follow up with you about on here, is so the poor girl, this bracelet around Punk and Drew, the poor girl, they made a bracelet to sell online. And then she obviously was jovial around it. And then they had a rivalry with Drew, which was fantastic. Her and Drew tweeting back and forth. But the bracelet is taking on a fucking mind of its own, path of its own, somehow, some way. And I just don't know what to think of it right now.
She wants money out of this, though, too.
I mean, it's her idea, I guess, technically. But they did, I think from what I read, they did pull it from the shop.
They did. I did
point,
hear they pulled it from the shop. Yes, they did. Listen, is there a girl? Is there really a girl? Or is this just a great story?
I mean, it's a great story. They've shown a picture of this girl with Punk before, and when this alleged exchange has happened.
Could be a niece.
Could be. That would be a hell of a plant.
I'm just there, and I'm like, oh my god, like, but why didn't this happen to one of my shirts that I gave to somebody or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good for her.
Yeah. Good for her. I was being a dick. Good for her.
I get it.
If there is, I hope that this is a story. Okay? And I mean a story. That if WWE, why am I losing my voice? I haven't talked all week.
You gotta practice.
I really am. Because I'm sitting in an office now, but wait, we'll get there. We might get to wrestling this week. I'm just hoping that this is, hey, you're going to come to events for the next 10 years. Just let us run with this. And yeah, clearly it's probably not the real bracelet if it meant as much to Punk and yada, yada, yada. It didn't make its way in. It's just a great story. If it's not, and they didn't do anything for this, shame. Shame, shame, shame.
Yeah. Agreed. I just, to your point, I feel like there had to have been something that happened for it to get on TV like this and be used as the crux of her story. And then I think for her, maybe she's just having some fun with it. I mean, why not?
I would be.
Exactly. Why not get some fun out of it? And just be like, hey, you know what?
We're talking about her on Can Crushers. What else does she do?
She's hit the pinnacle right now.
Right.
So this is it. This is the top of the mountain.
Pinnacle of like MJF's pinnacle? Like when that pinnacle was around, it lasted a little bit
taller than MJF's pinnacle.
Whew, whew, whew. Go ahead and do your thing so I can go off on not ever wanting to work in a call center, by the way.
But okay, I'm getting distracted. The Outrunners have a new T-shirt out there.
I love it.
Meat spin.
I love it.
Magical, guys. Go buy that. Anyways, I'm going to need you not to kick my ass as much as you are in fantasy football right now, because we're going to have
only one person, by the way.
It was only one person, and I just feel accosted. So I turn around and I'm getting punched right in the face.
Yeah, but let me tell you, last week, I don't know if my team just decided, we're going to start, after winning everything last year, we're going to start 0-1 and then go on another run. Because they didn't show up against Moochie's team.
My team didn't show up against Noira's team, and now you're just kicking my ass left and right like I owed you money or something. I don't know.
James Cook.
Jeez, right, James fucking Cook out of nowhere. And hey, you got the better end of that deal because Christian McCaffrey's on the shelf now for fucking who the hell knows how long.
Yeah, and I picked up his backup too, by the way.
Did you? I didn't even see that. Now I'm looking at it. Oh yeah, you did. Well, that's gonna fucking suck. I was wondering who got him.
That'd be me.
Yeah, just calm down, please.
I have to kind of work on my roster before Sunday morning, but
No, I think you leave your roster alone at this point. Put in the guys that are injured. Let's tone this down a little bit.
I should put in Jordan Love then?
Yeah,
by the way.
Jordan Love, that'll be fine. I'm happy for that.
So this week I have thrown an hour's worth of garbage. Okay? We're to a point where a project needs done within a month. And it's very computer oriented.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I'm a computer whiz, but I am fucking Bill Gates when it comes to some of the people that I work with. Okay. So they're like, yeah, we forgot about this. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been on the docket for 5 years.
My God.
I'm like, what do you expect me to do? Can you get it done in a month? October 17th, it needs to go into Pennsylvania. I don't want to give out too much information, but it needs to go to the state of Pennsylvania.
Ugh.
And on this form that I fill out, I have to input 2,000. I'm trying to cover my basis so I don't get caught. I have to input 2,000 serial numbers, all which have 20 questions per serial number.
Ugh. What?
So on average, I'm getting done 100, 110 a day. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, you can work a Saturday or so if you want to. Oh, can I? Oh, cool.
Thanks.
This is what I want to do. So I've been monkey pissing around with them, 5 hours, because I have other things to do. 5 hours a day. But today, as recording, I've cleared my schedule, and I dedicated the whole 8 hours to sitting at a computer to see how many I can get done in 8 hours. And Jenks, I tell you, I got up one time to piss because I made sure I had extra drinks around, a can of snuff sitting by me. I walked in shorts and my fucking hey dudes, so they knew that I was serious. They're like, oh, you really are. I'm like, leave me alone. I had the headphones, 2 sets of headphones because I knew one would die at some point during the 8 hours. Boom, put them on. I got 263 of them done today.
Nice.
For the week, I have 527 of them done, which doesn't seem like a lot of the 18 to 1900 that I have to input.
Right.
But I see a path of righteousness, I guess you want to say. But they just think I love you guys if you are listening to this week, by the way, especially the two of you that we're on the same level right now. They're computer illiterate. And they're like, you only got that many done in 8 hours? I'm like, I will show you how to do this. And you go do it. Because this is going to sound stupid, there's typing, there's drop downs, there's side downs, there's over downs, all this fucking shit pops up. And if it doesn't do what the state wants you to, a fucking red light comes on. That one can't be submitted. Fuck, what did I do? You go back to fucking trace it all backwards. Oh, I put a 3 there instead of a 4. Move on. So if I'm ever bitching about wanting to, like, I want a desk job, I want something like this. A desk job and what I'm doing right now of just horrible clerical work, smack me across the face through any Skype, any phone call, anything. It ain't worth it.
Yeah. Oh, God. I will say having a desk job, sitting down typing.
Max doesn't like desk jobs either, apparently.
Yeah, sitting down typing and the most obnoxious thing, like repeating, typing, da-da-da, over and over and over again, is the worst. It can be the absolute worst. It can drag you down as much as possible. Like, so you have to have the right music, podcast, whatever you got to get you through that, because you're just mindlessly entering data, and it can be way too much.
It was. But I did. Yeah. I got up once to go pee today.
Yeah.
Everything was in front of me because you know how I'm competitive. I want to see how many I really can do in one day.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. I will make sure there's built-in 10-minute breaks every half an hour so you can look at your eyes so they can regenerate or whatever. We need to talk about wrestling now because something happened that I'm super excited about. Plus CZW's back.
Let's get that all out.
Listen, I don't care about the Bills this week. go back to any other edition of Ask Can Crusher, of Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. You'll find out where we are. You'll find out, that's horrible for people to just finding us right now, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a horrible idea. You're going to listen to a spotlight. You're going to listen to something from the past, or you're going to listen again next week. We'll be better next week. This is a 2-week recap that we have to get this. So go buy our stuff, buy the shit in the drop downs, all that.
Yeah, quick.
Next
week.
But you need to give that out.
Yeah, but I got to get this contact information out. So, because next week is Ask Can Crushers, and we need your questions to come in. We can't talk to ourselves about, well, we probably could, but we want to hear from you guys. We want your guys' input. So contact us via email, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Put your questions in there. DM us on social media platforms. Don't do threads. Nobody wants that. Or go ahead and call us at 814-299-6687 and get your voice online and get us questions because we want to answer them. Next week is entirely Ask Can Crushers. Get myself tongue-tied. So we need questions to fill the 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever it ends up being. So,
all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Clearly, we're starting with AEW. WWE will be third segment. We'll recap some of Clash because we didn't last week, but we'll get there. We'll wrap up AEW in a nice bow. We'll put a nice ribbon on WWE, and then we'll head to Pittsburgh.
Hey, y'all, this is Sam Houston. I got to tell you, if you want to know the latest in wrestling and what's going on, tune into Can Crushers every time it comes on. I know I will. Later, y'all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Can Crushers. It's Mark. It's Mike. We're going all out on AEW. Oh, yeah, it's a pay-per-view, by the way, too. All out!
We're all out.
Jenks, I was on the fence about watching All Out. I was, because it was that week, yada, yada, yada. But I went all in on watching All Out. I even watched 0 Hour.
Oh, yeah?
It should have been All Out on 0 Hour. By the way.
Yeah, 0 Hour, I think, in general was meh. I didn't think there's anything really to take away from there, to be honest.
Not at all.
So, if you're good with it.
The best thing, I will say the best thing is it was nice to I know Sky Blue's hurt, to have in front of her hometown crowd.
Yeah.
That was it.
Right.
Other than the matches were, I fucking hate that kid, by the way, too.
We're going to leave it at that, Mark.
Boom. Aldi's, boom. Chick-fil-A, boom.
What was their name? What did they nickname themselves?
Big Justice.
Big Justice, yeah, whatever it was.
At least have something behind. Listen, we're a wrestling podcast that drinks beer, and I'm a garbage man, for the love of fucking God.
Yeah.
Can Crushers. Boom has been something that has been said for, I can't. I can't send this to him, by the way, too. I hate the kid. I absolutely hate the kid.
Boom is Kofi Kingston's specialty.
Right.
Boom, boom. Yeah. But I got nothing. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Let's do main card. Let's go main card. And, all right. Go on.
Okay. I'm going to take a drink again. By the way, we did go to Aldi's. We went shopping, and it's aloe vera water, which sometimes you find, sometimes you don't. So we bought a case. They were 99 cents a bottle. So we bought a case of 30 of them. Okay. He was gonna drink the shit out of them. Guess who's drinking them all? Have you never had aloe vera water?
I have not. No.
There's little pieces of aloe vera actually in it.
Really?
So if you have that, like a texture issue, I'll put it this way best for people to understand. It is a soggy gummy worm in there at some point. But when you take a gulp, it just makes its way down your gullet. I like it. I actually, if I can feel it coming, oh my God, this is going down the wrong fucking path.
I'm gonna drink my tea over here. What do you got?
But if I can feel it approaching my mouth, I will grab it and like chew on it. I wasn't gonna say coming because that really sounds horrible.
Yeah.
If I can feel it approaching my mouth, I will grab it and like chew on it because aloe vera is good for you. And it's good. Look it up. It's aloe vera drink. Like I said, we spent $30 for a case. Delicious. There's regular, or there was like a couple mangoes thrown in there.
Oh, now did you buy it because of the mangoes? Because you are.
I am a mango fiend.
Yeah.
But no, there was only like 4 mangoes in it because it was like they were misplaced from probably a mango pack of them. I'm like, let's just buy these ones. Like, I don't want any of the mango ones. I'm like, I'll drink the mango ones. There's only 4 of them in there.
Yeah.
I'm drinking these like it's God's water, essentially.
That's better than what I thought you were drinking. Because when you were drinking the other one, I'm like, man, that looks like it's just like lemon juice or something like that. Like the bottle's green. It looked like it had. I only saw yellow on the bottle, so I'm like, is that fucking lemon juice? What is he doing over there? Juice. I'm like,
what happened to him in 2 weeks?
What is going on that he's having straight lemon juice? Like, I like lemons, but not that much.
No. A little bit of vodka in it. Main card starts with MJF and Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
I don't think this match was done right. I love the match. I'm worried that the outcome didn't end anything, yet it's supposed to, right?
I think, for me personally, I think Danny Garcia should have won this and then taken it the next step over of putting MJF pile driving him off top rope. I don't know why they didn't just put Danny on top over in this match.
But MJF losing to Danny is not going to do anything to him.
No.
It does give Danny a little kick in the ass. Oh.
Yeah.
But Danny lost the match. So he's back him at the bottom of the order again, I think. In MJF now, he got beat to snot, and he's probably off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's it do?
So, did they do this because there's been reports that Danny hasn't signed an AEW contract yet? Was it just, well, we can't have MJF lose if you haven't signed your contract yet? And if he had signed his contract, maybe he would have won. Is that what's happening here?
Do you give him that big to-do at the end of the match then? If there aren't major I mean...
If it writes MJF off, then that allows when MJF comes back, and let's say Danny Garcia goes somewhere else, probably somewhere in Stanford or something like that. It would be...
By the way, did you see that's for sale?
Oh, yeah, Titan Tower? I kind of want to.
Can't Crusher fucking office there. What else can we run out of that place?
Oh, God. Well, Jim. We can run a gym. There's a gym at the bottom of it.
There is a gym at the bottom. We can run a gym out of it.
We can run the
production. Mm-hmm. We could do our own production that I was starting. You could start your own thing.
We could
have another podcast talking about boats and hose if we wanted to.
College football. We could do a museum tour. There's probably that big ass T-Rex head still up in fucking Vince's office at that point. So.
Sure. Ready? It has to come out of my head. Sure, there's a sex dungeon in there someplace too, but I digress.
God.
I love the match of MJF and Danny.
I love the match too. I think back to my original point. I think when MJF comes back, if Danny is gone, MJF can easily say, well, he ran away. He injured me and then ran away, that rat bastard or whatever he wants to call him. And then we move on with the storyline. So we move on with MJF. But it was a fun match. Just I wish a different outcome had happened.
I do too. I would hope Danny resigns. I really do here.
Yeah.
I think if it's lost... he goes to NXT and maybe does something, but I think he gets lost in the shuffle up on the big time.
It's going to be the same thing with the Lucha Bros and Motor City Machine Guns, which we've heard from both teams are going there. So they're going to get lost big time. Just heading up there. But
is that your Mania match already, by the way? On two separate brands, yet they meet the Lucha Bros against Motor City Machine Guns.
I heard that Motor City Machine Guns are going to NXT, and I don't know where Lucha Bros end up.
I thought they were going to SmackDown, is what I heard.
I heard that, and then recently I've heard they're just ending up in NXT as a big fish in tiny waters type thing.
We'll see what they do.
Yeah,
I do love Penta.
I think if the Lucha Bros, I would assume, go to SmackDown or go up.
Right.
I think they could be a Mania match. I just think Motor City Machine Guns, they're just going to relegate down to the NXT level and get people over there.
Well, you know why? Still, because they have great working with TNA.
Yeah. Well, that's true. So they can go back and forth and do. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I didn't even think about that.
Next matchup is the Bucks against the BCC for the tag titles. A lot of back and forth. Got a little spotty. And I'm shocked that it got spotty. I know it was a lot of Wheeler spotty and stuff, but I mean, it got spotty for BCC. And I don't want to say it was a lot. It was definitely not the worst match, but it lost me a little bit. And we knew BCC was not winning.
Yeah, I would have thought it got spotty for sure. I just think Claudio should have been taking over a lot of it. But I get what they did with it, with the Young Bucks or the heel tag team against BCC, but that changed 2 hours later. But it's
we're looking at this, not looking at it yet.
Yeah, it's not looking. Yeah, it missed the mark for me because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and it's weird because looking back in hindsight to it, with that everything else removed, it's kind of what I should have thought it was going to be. If that makes any sense. It was a Dynamite main event. I don't even think it was a main event. It was a Dynamite match. Maybe your 9 o'clock match, but I don't think it was anything special.
Touche. Listen, I don't care what anybody says.
Speaking of special.
Because the ones at the tail end will end up in spectacle.
Yeah.
Of the year talks.
Yeah.
We have a list, Jenks. This is now my number one. This is my number one of the year. It's September, so it's going to be hard pressed for anybody to beat what Ospreay and Pac did in this match.
But that's the key thing, though. Ospreay's going to be involved in a bunch of matches. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
that's the thing. My top three are in them.
Yeah. And it's as simple as that. This was fucking...
My notes say, holy fuck. Will retains, but fuck. I can't break this down.
I didn't even try to write notes during this match because I was sitting there like, fuck that. As soon as it started, I was like, we're good. We're tuned.
Yeah.
I don't want to even look at this fucking device. Don't want to see it. Like, and I was like, holy fuck. Like, but I think I was instantly locked in when Pac did the fucking Poison Rana on the stage with Ospreay.
Yeah.
Right after All In. It was boom. Okay. Sold.
Yep. I didn't need anything else.
Nope.
Is this, and this gets thrown out there, and I'm going to steal this a little bit from Busted Open, so if you've all listened to Busted Open, then you come back and listen to us. Is this instant classic, or is that really not a thing anymore? Because you can find them all the time anymore. Is there really any instant classics anymore?
But isn't that the definition of an instant classic?
That's what I thought.
Although
some people were fighting it the other way, saying like it's so available anymore that
it's the old adage: if everybody has a superpower, then nobody's a superpowered human being, right? So, but to that point, though, it's only certain individuals that are having these consistently great matches. I think it's because we've opened up the world for wrestling that we can intake all of these instant classics, that we know it's happening, and that we can, now it seems more prevalent than ever. I'm sure back in the 90s, New Japan was throwing bangers, but if you lived in the U.S., you had no fucking clue outside of WCW and WWF and occasionally ECW. And even then, you're siloed because you're picking one over the other.
Yep.
Now, I think it's because of the digital age. You don't have to miss if you miss something, you can catch it at a different time in a different place. And with AEW, that seems to be coming sooner rather than later.
Yep.
But
WWE as well.
WWE, it's there. You can pick up the content whenever you want, and it allows us to fit it into our schedules. And that's the beauty of it. Yes, there may seem to be, it's everywhere, and it's taking away from it, but it's only because it's more accessible that I think it's better. I think it's better for the community as a whole.
I do too. Because, listen, I did watch this live, but if I didn't watch this live, I would have the same thing if I would have watched this on Thursday saying this was an instant classic.
Yep. If you can, and here's the key, avoiding the spoilers is the challenge now. But, because that's what it was for All In for me. I didn't watch it live. I had to watch it broken up throughout the week. So I was dip, dive, dodge, duck, dodge throughout the week trying to get through All In. Watching it live, something truly special because you're seeing it. Oh my God, it's perfect. It's on point. You don't have to worry about seeing something you shouldn't see. It's just beautiful.
Yes, kiss.
Yes, kiss.
Chicago street fight between Stat and Willow. They went for it. They did. I think they were told, because I think these women can do more. But I think they were told you can't because shit's to come.
Yes, but to that point, I think they pushed the limits of what they could do. But let's be honest, they weren't going to do anything that happened in that main event.
No.
Which, I take them, they did everything they needed to. Thumbtacks, split on thumbtacks. Then you're looking at fucking light tubes coming at it, Willow pulling light tubes out.
It had an earthquake.
You get over
come by here.
Or just having an out-of-body experience, remembering
Miggy just ran into everything.
Oh, God. Hopefully he's okay.
He's fine.
Nothing else is, but he's good, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think they did to your point, they did the best they could with what they were able to do in this match.
Yeah. I liked it.
I liked it, too. I was kind of shocked Stat won it, though.
I was, too. But I just don't know where this goes for either one of them. I hope it ends this part of this story for a bit.
Yeah.
And we see, listen, we've been saying this for years. Do you not think it's time Stat gets to that next level?
I think this has to be the jumping off point for her to go to that next level.
Yeah.
She should be built up. She's a heel, but she should probably be the one that's built up to take this off of Mariah at some point. It's probably not going to happen, but I think she would be the prime candidate for that.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree at this point. I really do. AEW Continental match, Okada, Briscoe, Orange, and
Takeshita.
Takeshita, yeah. Oh my God, why couldn't I forget him? I love that there was the bang bang moment for Mick Foley on the outside.
Yeah.
I popped for this. But Okada retains, and it's setting up this way, without touching Takeshita,
Mm-hmm.
and not in the match a lot.
Yeah.
Like, this was mostly Takeshita getting his ass beat. Hands on, hands off by Briscoe, by Orange. They had their little to-dos. Takeshita had some nice spots. Go back and watch. Okada didn't do much in this match. Just to get a quick rainmaker for the win.
Are they preserving him for what will be the bigger match with Takeshita here at some point?
I would have to think.
Yeah.
I would have to think. Does he have only so many appearances or moves in his contract or something? Like,
I think it could be appearances. I think it also could be they're recognizing, well, maybe he's just injured and they need to protect him to get him to Takeshita at some point. Because he's only wrestling very few and far between matches here.
yeah.
So I
he's
think
on TV doing shticks.
But he's only wrestling few and far between. They can play it off easily with him being a part of the elite, but I think he might be on a part-time wrestling deal kind of thing.
And I'm bummed about that because I just caught on to that now.
Yeah.
Like, during this match, I'm like, he ain't doing much. And then it rewinded, I'm like, oh, he's not really doing much on TV either, besides shticks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, the match it's set up for what it needs to set up for.
Yeah. The outcome was to set up him and Takeshita at some point.
Yeah. Wrestle Dream.
Maybe. I would assume, but.
TBS. Monet against Shida. I want you to go first.
I thought the match they had earlier this year was way better than what was happening here. They didn't seem to click on this one.
I hate to say this. I always do. This was the worst match of the night.
Yeah. It was.
And it seems like it got stiff at one point too, where.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't like to use a word, but I have to, like, maybe there was a botch kick, and I'm sorry for wrestlers. We don't use that much, but I wanted to get it to the fans that actually hit,
mm-hmm.
and it wasn't supposed to, because then one of the others, and I'm not throwing either one under the bus, but then the other took a liberty, and I'm like, wow, something's going on in this match that, fans, 30 years, 40-year fans catch on to shit now, and I'm like, something seems awry in this match. Because we've seen it before, like you just said.
Yeah. And the body language after the match certainly told that story of there was a lot of anger that was brewing. So I'm sure there was a little bit of a brouhaha going on backstage after this to kind of clear that up. But you're right. Things connected that shouldn't have connected, and it just led to being more of a work shoot kind of ending, getting to the end than anything else. Yeah.
Sum it up for me. It's like they met 5 minutes before the match. They said, head down, take over, roll up, pin, kick out, roll over, pin, kick out, kick, take the shot, kick. Like, they planned it as they were coming out. They had no interaction any other time. And again, months ago, this match happened. And we were like, oh, it's a good fucking match. We hope they meet again.
Yeah, and it seemed crisp. It seemed on point. I don't know what
They're
happened
two of
here.
the best. They are two of the best. This wasn't
they are.
Neither of them, night.
Yeah, neither of them lost a step. So I don't know what happened on this night in Chicago, but it wasn't good.
No. We get to our main events. AEW title match, Danielson against Jack Perry. And this is a match. Barring shit that happened, was better than I expected. I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be good. Don't get me wrong. But I thought, this is more of we're going to give Jack some comeuppance, even taking the loss.
Right.
And I think Jack made a next fucking step.
Yep.
Even as TNT champion, I would think he could go for the AEW championship right now again against anybody. And I'm like, okay, I really think he could be championship material. That
Agreed.
happened in this match for me. It was that great. I really liked it. Go ahead and talk about the match, because afterward.
I agree with you. He took a major step forward. And I was kind of like, when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, this is not the direction I thought they were going to go with the AEW title match at All Out. I didn't even think they were going to have an All Out match, to be honest, for the AEW title. I thought, man, this just seems like they're pushing it together. It's not going to gel. But Jack Perry has solidified himself as a hard-nosed competitor and hanging with Danielson. And he saw it a little bit on Wednesday, too. He's still perpetrating a lot and trying to get under Danielson's skin, barring things that have tried to take away his living skin at that point. But the nuances that Jack Perry, to your point, stepped up and matched Danielson in a way that I don't think anybody was prepared for. And I think that's a great sign going forward for them, because when you look at the pillars that they have left, there's two that are like truly playing there. He's got some things to work out here, and we'll get to that on Wednesday. But there's two of them that are now up there ready to compete for a world title. And Jack Perry has become one of them. He has epitomized the scapegoat gimmick, and now it has fully removed Jungle Boy from anybody's minds, and it has made him a star for being not the typical size, for being the scapegoat, but being not the typical size. He's the scapegoat, and he has just made that work for them. And the Young Bucks coming out, we knew that wasn't going to do shit for it.
No, but it led to other people coming out. And
that's true. And getting us ready to set. Okay, let's get there. Let's start with Christian, though. Christian comes out, jaunting down to the ring. I was sitting there like, oh, fuck, I didn't realize this was any time, any place. I thought, I signed a contract. You can have it at Wrestle Dream or something. So I'm like, okay, fuck, this is going to happen. ECC comes out. Oh, okay, friends are here. Great.
We're going to celebrate.
No, we're just going to commit murder without Yuta knowing anything about it.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved it, because we now have a direction.
Yes. Yep. 100%. I was just going to say that. We know the end game. We have the end game for we'll call it the career right now, the full-time career.
Yep.
It was chef's kiss, the way they pulled that off. And it explained why Pac suddenly joined the BCC.
Right. And he fits perfectly.
Oh, 100%. I saw a tweet earlier this week that was Pac went from a maniac looking in his pictures to somebody that's very quiet and reserved because of Danielson. And then they followed it quickly up, and the screenshot followed up and goes, never mind, he was just planning a murder. And that was it. So I was dying at that, but it's accurate, because it's somehow we were like, what the fuck is Pac doing with the BCC? It didn't make sense. Yuta and Claudio, that doesn't make sense. And now the pieces fell into alignment.
Yeah. I want to engulf all the craziness with the talk at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a lot to do with the craziness of the talk at the end. It was a major hot topic on last Sunday/Monday. So we'll move along to the Lights Out Cage match. I got a headache over this. Like, I will dabble with crazy ass wrestling every once in a while.
Right.
this took it to the next level. I mean, I've seen this stuff before, but I know going into that event, I'm prepared that I'm going to see dismemberment and death
and all of that.
I didn't expect AEW to do this. Not at all. If it was a gimmick chair, I still don't care. He took the whole fucking seat to the head.
Yep.
The syringe, as JR used to say, you can't fake fucking falling on a cinder block. I don't care. Like, everything in this match, thank God it was a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could stay up that little bit longer and decompress from it compared to on Sundays turning off the TV and trying to close my eyes.
Yeah.
In the state of mind that I'm in right now, I wouldn't have slept. I would not have slept.
Absolutely not.
Had a crack of beer and I'm like, what did we just see these last two matches with AEW?
Yeah. It went completely down a dark, dismal path.
Yeah.
And I'll argue it started the Wednesday before when Hangman set the house on fire in that fucking visual.
I was wondering a couple of weeks ago why they said, "Hey, look, Swerve Strickland bought it." It was a post.
Well, it's when they posted it, I'm like, oh, there's fucking something going on with this. Because why?
Right.
Yeah, why would you do this? But then when Hangman explains, you lost everything. I had nothing until you made that fucking post and you bought this house.
Yeah. Burn the fucking bitch down. I absolutely loved this, though. Again, that dark path. It's in any wrestling fan's head. I don't care what you say. I couldn't get enough of this. I didn't want it to end. After the syringe through the face and all that, I'm like, oh my God. And I still don't think this feud's over.
No. Swerve's going to get back at him.
I bet you he's off for a little bit.
He's off for a little bit, but this is carrying on for the rest of their careers, no matter what. I will say, Jesus Christ. I thought, that's not a real cinder block. I thought that's one of those ones that are going to break as soon as you touch it, whatever, right? Nope, he took that fucking vertebraker right on that, and it proved with that brush burn up his back. No, that fucking shit was not.
That
wasn't gimmick. That's normal. That's a normal cinder block. This whole thing was the staple guns. Here's the story from Kimberly was down in the other room. She was not watching wrestling that night. I'm like,
I was just saying, you didn't let her watch this.
I was like, this is not going to be there's a match that's going to be on later in the night. It's not going to be nothing for you to watch. She goes, okay. So she's watching her own thing. She comes down at one point, right as this match had started a little bit. And dogs know this. I fucking had a cheesy ass smile on my face because they had just done the stable gun spot, and I'm smiling. And she goes, "Oh, you smiling? Is this a good match so far?" I'm like, "It's just getting started, but you need to not watch this anymore." And she's like, "Why?" I go, "Listen, he just took staples to the back." She goes, "Were they real?" I go, "They were absolutely real. They're sticking." And then she just saw the blood trickle a little bit, and she's like, "I'm going to go back to the room." I'm like, "That's probably a good idea, honey. Have a good night."
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, because they showed the clips on Wednesday night's show, she was
watching.
She saw the fucking gun to the face with the picture, and then the fucking syringe came out. Obviously, they didn't show that on Wednesday, but holy shit. She's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "This is fucking wrestling. This is AEW for you." But my God, they took it to a level. I'm going to be the sick bastard and say I wanted more, but I knew the story that they were telling here was enough. Because to me, I didn't understand, and this is just me nitpicking because, well, why wouldn't I nitpick violence on TV? The syringe, I assume, was, let's call it a numbing agent, whatever, gimmick, whatever. I didn't know what was in it. But wouldn't that, to me, you would have taken the grill out after that. After the syringe, not before it came into play.
Well, you had the pain by ripping the grill out.
Well, that's fair. And then he put that in. At that moment, I was like, what the hell is he injecting him with? Chlorine or what? Lysol? This light chloroform, Lysol? What are we doing here? And then the chair shot, boof. That capped it. It's now, what the fuck else? How do you top that?
But you know these two want to.
I know.
Because Monday and Tuesday, this was a buzz. Legends. Listen, everybody knows I listen to Busted Open as well. Legends came on Busted Open talking about protect yourself.
Yeah.
Gimmicked or not, that chair hit him.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It made contact.
Something save your life.
Yep.
So I will go with them there. Yes. The point that I wanted to make is fans were also calling in saying this is completely, these two matches, the murder of Bryan Danielson and then syringes and staple guns and this, that, and the other thing has broke them from AEW because that's not what they wanted. So, ready? You want a crucifixion of a 18-year-old daughter? You want a birth of a hand? You want a dead demon sleeping with a corpse? Do you want incest? This was violence, which essentially you come down to it is what wrestling is.
Yeah.
Those other things are stories that somebody had to fucking put pen to paper to write. And yes, I know, old regime, da-da-da-da. I'm just saying. Both companies have their thing. So you can't say, WWE's never done anything like this. No, they just sacrificed a fucking 18-year-old daughter on national television.
Yeah.
This was at least pay-per-view.
And they had routine crucifixions happening for about 6 months.
Right.
At the old company. They did a lot of fucking shit in the late 1999
area.
In the Attitude Era, yeah. I mean, you had Rikishi running down Stone Cold. You had fucking
Iron-Tide cut Val Venus's dick off.
Yeah. Yelling about
that's
PP,
all on
choppy.
live TV.
Yeah.
Live taped, whatever, but on national TV.
That shit hit live TV. It was a syringe, least worrisome thing that I've seen. Do you know how many times this commentary also gets me because it's also like, how many fucking times do you think somebody on live TV got hit with a fucking chair? Square in the skull.
Back in those hardcore matches where there's 97,000 people outside, Crash Holly got bombarded with them all the time.
And let me preface this with a lot of people. I'm not calling it right, wrong, and different or whatever. It was acceptable back then, not now. I'm not saying that. It was wrong both times. Okay. But we grew up on that, and this shit happened on live TV before it came to AEW. It's just been gone for 20 plus years. I challenge you to watch the Rumble 2000 with Triple H and Mick Foley in that street fight. Almost as violent as what you saw here.
Yeah. It's I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
It's wrestling. It's wrestling. Every show starts off, don't fucking do this.
Yep.
The lady that I actually heard call in, her 13-year-old son, her 13-year-old son was watching this, and they turned the pay-per-view off, and now he's not allowed watching AEW anymore. Listen, he's 13. I was a boy at one point.
He's gonna find a way.
I'm a man child. One, he'll find a way to watch it. Now you'll just make him do it. Yep. Him and his friend will now buy a bingo bus like Jack Perry and start running it into guardrails and stuff like that.
Yep.
We're turning this to a dad moment for it. Have the talk with them of, listen, this is all scripted. They know what they're doing, nor wrestlers will hate this. They're pseudo stuntmen. They know how to do this stuff.
Yep.
Don't buy a bingo bus to drive it into a telephone pole. You will die. Don't put a syringe in little Maddie's fucking face. You'll kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be that parent. This is a teaching moment for you.
Yep. Show them that they know they are professionals. They understand how to do this safely. You do not. You do not do this. What you see is for entertainment purposes. Right? I mean, it's another level of entertainment on TV. You're going to have movies, you're going to have shit. But I'm going to bring it right back. This is the natural progression of a story that brings it as close to a reality as possible. When you have the escalation that this story has had, from starting with Hangman and Swerve just calling out Hangman, trying to take a spot, to Swerve getting into his house and being close to his baby. That death match is two men literally trying to survive after what he did, the other trying to get revenge for him getting so close to his child that he could pretty much kiss him on the head, right? It's naturally has escalated for the past year, as these things do in real life.
Yeah.
That's a grudge. It's a grudge. It's the consequences of my actions have consequences that will produce more consequences. And that is a blood feud that we're seeing anywhere across the country between families, friends, whatever you want to look at it. This is what it is. It's blood, it's grudge, it's blood feuds. Through and through.
Yeah.
And it
makes for great fucking television.
Makes for great fucking television, and it has driven professional wrestling since its inception.
Yeah.
And I will go on record and say it's been missing for 20 plus years.
Has been. We won't get a match like this again from AEW for a while.
Yeah.
So this was special.
This whole pay-per-view, this last two matches of the pay-per-view had very special moments because you're not going to see this ever again, or to that point, the escalation of this stuff again. Swerve and Hangman might not touch again for another year.
Yeah. The last time you saw somebody almost murdered in the ring with a plastic bag was Funk and Flair, like 27 years ago.
Yeah.
It was, listen, Moxley has been on record for years saying Funk is one of his number one people, his heroes, da-da-da-da-da. With Funk passing this year, don't you think Mox wanted to give his kind of shout out?
Yep.
That was his shout out.
It was. It 100% was. It was his way of paying tribute. Because Mox isn't the guy to wear the t-shirt of the guy that he's honoring. Mox is the kind of guy to take a piece of that history and use it somewhere. And 9 times out of 10, well, no, you know what, 10 times out of 10, he's going to pick the most violent piece of that history to use it. And he needed to do it on the perfect candidate and someone that had equal amount of passion for the business as he does in his own special way. Danielson knew that moment and understood the levity and the layers of that moment. So he took advantage and moved with it and said, you know what, let's do this.
I'm saying be prepared, because we started out in segment 1, PWI talk. This just shot Jon Moxley to 1 right now. Especially after he gets the title.
Yeah.
He has it for a while.
Wow. Which is going to happen in about a month.
With a lengthy run.
Yes. a very lengthy run, which we've already planted the seeds probably for who would be the one to dethrone him, but there's going to be a natural build for that. Yep. And there's going to be months upon months of building to that point. And probably a trip to Eltrus before he actually gets through that storyline.
Yeah. Agreed. That little interaction was like, here is where we go.
Yep.
MJF's not around this title for a while.
No.
And he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be.
He's bigger than the title at this point.
Yeah. You might see him thrown into Continental Classic or this or that.
Yeah.
Noteworthy it. But then something happens that he gets screwed over or whatever.
Yeah.
Just saying. So overall, what did you think of the pay-per-view out of a six-pack?
I think that the matches themselves hit for the most part, outside of Mercedes and Shida.
Yeah.
And whatever happened with her. So I'm tempted to give it the 6, but I'm going to go 5.5. I think Mercedes and Shida kind of bumps it down for me a little bit.
I'm going a straight 5.
Okay.
One because Mercedes and Shida. 2, I wasn't in on the Continental match or the tag title match. Those, like, they were just there for me. They were good, but I don't think they were pay-per-view good.
That's fair.
So
there was other avenues to kind of highlight what they wanted to highlight with those. Yeah.
I liked that we didn't have 97 matches, though. Like, I think they're catching on that we should not have fucking 14 matches in the 3-hour pay-per-view with 6 more on 0 hour.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. 100%.
So. Dynamite? What do you got for Dynamite?
I think Dynamite ended up being, okay, cool. They kind of tied in everything with Pac. I think it focused mostly around Darby trying to get we put that title on the line. The Outrunners are fucking on fire. What did you think of the tag team gauntlet match? Because I know you don't like the casino gauntlet match concept in it, and there's a lot of people sleeping, obviously. But with that, I don't know, to me it kind of felt like it was almost a showcase so Tony Khan knew who was popular and who wasn't.
Yeah. Yep. That I'm like, oh, this is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of a shine.
Yeah.
That was...
Yeah, it was only... Someone's shooting off fireworks here. Yeah, it was a little bit of a shine, trying to be...
September 14th, definitely the day they shoot off fireworks.
There's one random one, unless somebody's shooting a gun off, I don't know, but...
That's even worse, sorry.
That is, yeah. I think there was, that's all it seemed like to me was that was the highlight of the show, was for them to know, oh, Outrunners are truly popular, okay, FDR, Righteous maybe, you know.
I still love the Righteous. I just don't think.
I just don't think they understand them.
I don't either.
Yeah, I just don't think they understand what they have with them, and I think that's the disappointing part of it.
We've said this once, and I know this is coming out wrong. Once Bray passed, like, if there would have been a team to take over his persona, I think they have it down fucking more than the Alliance 6 right now. We're going to go and talk about them real quick, but
we'll get to that, but yeah.
But AEW is on fire right now. They really are.
It's cooking. It's starting to cook a little bit more and a little bit greater. We'll see what it can do without MJF there.
And Swerve.
True. Hangman's going to be the focal point, I think, for a lot of it going forward.
I would say it's more Mox, but
fair. Both.
But yeah, between the two, I wouldn't be surprised if they meet at some point, though, too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know how we're getting there.
They'll find a way.
They'll find a way to get both dastardly son of a bitches together.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, we're going to pause, and we'll come back with a roundtable, essentially, of WWE and what they've been doing over the last 2 weeks. Again, don't forget, next week is Ask Can Crushers. Make sure you get your phone calls in or your emails in, however you want to ask us a question. We are dedicating the whole show, unless there's something, a big to-do with either company. We will dive right into the questions after we do. Holy shit, did you see Pitt won the national championship last week? And we'll go from there.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers podcast.
No, I just had to do that for Mark. Welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Segment 3, WWE, encapsulating the past 2 weeks. Hey, you guys know we record this on Friday nights usually. SmackDown on USA has started on during this. We will not be covering it live, obviously, but big night. But here we are. It's time to talk WWE.
I do. Remember a couple weeks ago when I was talking about forgery?
Yes.
Okay, when I actually meant blacksmithing.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, but other people didn't. You know one of our favorite shows, Forged in Fire?
Yeah.
September. Season 8, episode 17 is built around WWE. Fucking the day after, this has been a note for 2 weeks now. The day after it popped up on the YouTubes, you should probably watch this one, a recommended one. You should probably watch this one. There is somebody from WWE that shows up at the end.
Okay.
Okay. Woo!
God.
Not who you would have thought. But they have to build stuff using pseudo WWE stuff. You will like it.
Okay. I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
Season 7?
Season 8.
Season 8.
Episode 17.
All right.
If you want to dive into something like that. It was good. I mean, I will watch any Forged in Fire. I really will.
Oh, yeah. It's
Just
really good.
Yeah. Jenks, I will get this out there right off the bat, and this is probably going to be my coverage for Berlin. I didn't like it. We didn't predict it.
No.
It was very predictable besides one match. I'm shocked that they gave the titles back to Jade and Bianca.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why they did that. Is it maybe one of them was injured at one point and they just had to get it off of them?
But does the breakup? Listen, the breakup's coming, right?
May not be till next year. Maybe they're hedging their bets. This is the Mania match.
All right, but still, you could have a nice lead up to it. Like, get something rocking and rolling. We're October, right? We're around October. Yeah. They're not going to have a match of Bad Blood because they don't have Bad Blood. Does the breakup have to come, this is where I'm coming, over them losing the titles? Because that's what I think they're trying to make us do. And then they have that same / different Rumble experience where one tosses the other one out.
Potentially. I don't know, though. Maybe the tag titles aren't going to be in the picture at Rumble. Maybe
no, I don't think they are.
But they lose them. I don't think it's going to be that they harbor resentment at that time. But maybe there's subtle hints. And then it's like one of them gets eliminated, then it's fast pace, fast track it to the end of the night. Or maybe they eliminate each other from the Rumble somehow. And they just get pissed about that, and it's a friendly competition at Mania. Or maybe it's just...
I don't want to see that. I don't like friendly. I would rather have syringes than friendly competition.
But, you know, I think the hint's already been there from past Monday night with Bianca, the tag title match. There's kind of looks to me Monday night that was kind of like, Bianca's not fully in this right now. And she's kind of like, okay, this happened. We won it again. Great. Yeehaw. Right? So, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but it does seem like, to your point, it's most likely going down that fast friends.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sell us on it. Try to convince me. As of right now, I don't care. And the rest, I mean, I don't know. They were, I don't want to say they were all Raw or SmackDown main event matches, but I didn't get the feels whatsoever in this pay-per-view.
I think the strap match, but the strap match could have been more for me. I also don't like the concept of touching all four corners. I think that takes me out of the element of the strap match. If it's like a dog collar match, but with it just around your wrists and you pin the person, that one I can buy. That one I'm more into because it can end at any point. But when you're hitting every single corner, that kind of to me is just kind of hokey in its own sense. And I took that when they said that that's how you were going to win. I'm like, God,
I told you.
Damn it, Dave. This is not, you don't want that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel, it's too hokey for the business. And we just got done talking about reality based.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else grind your gears on Bash? WWE is going to be fast, by the way. Folks.
Yeah, I don't think fast. I don't think it was that grinding my gears type mentality.
And the rest just crapshoot it. What do you, Michael Jenks? What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? Well, I'm going to say, well, you know what? I'm just going to say, hey, Vinci, I love that you lost in 3 seconds. Go. Loved it. Everybody's like, oh my God, they spent time. Blah, 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 blah. I fucking cackled like a child. It made sense. So.
It did.
That was the first part. Also, God fucking damn it. Let's just get this turn between Theory and Grayson over.
I know. It's too much. It's too long.
It's too long. I get they're probably going to do it during SmackDown, the debut on USA, but for fuck's sake, just no. It's been too long. It's dragging out for no reason.
It's been since they've had the titles.
It has been. And that was what? 5 months ago? 4 months ago? Whatever the hell that was. It's just bad. I don't know.
It's not a story that fits both of them.
Because it doesn't.
That's why it's not gelling.
Well, and even then, when you look at the typical, there's going to be a heel part of this and there's going to be a babyface part of this, it's not. What's it fucking going to do? You know what I mean? It's just not. Neither of them fit that persona.
I was going to say, which one? Austin was maybe a little bit of a face. Maybe. That's not him. Listen, I think he's probably an amazing human being, and he's a great wrestler. He looks like a giant douchebag.
Yeah.
So, that's, when you have the look of a giant douchebag, many people tell me this, when you look like a giant douchebag, it's better just to remain the giant douchebag. I have for 47 fucking years. I've remained a giant douchebag. Austin Theory should remain a giant douchebag. I couldn't imagine Waller cutting anything funny as a face.
No.
His words are his shit. He's an asshole because of his words.
Yeah.
I know we said that kind of about Cena 97 years ago, too. Listen, Waller is not Cena. So don't even make that comparison before anybody throws that out there. Just saying. Thank you.
They're great.
Thank you, Doggos. Yeah. I just don't. You don't get two heels out of this. You already have fucking two heels.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to get two heels out of this, Then just let them split up and say, fuck you, let's go our separate ways.
And then separate them then, though.
Yeah.
Like, one should be on Raw, one should be on SmackDown.
Agreed. Yep.
They shouldn't share the same locker room because this pissing match going on right now is, they're just both getting wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see, and how do you feel about Raw going down to 2 hours for a while?
I like it. And it seems like it's going to go to 2 hours on Netflix, too, going forward. I kind of like that. The third hour always seemed to be like a dragging match to get to the final piece of it. But I'm happy with this.
I think more will be fast-tracked.
Yeah.
Which is good, I think, for the WWE for a little bit. Because, listen, we bitch and complain about 25 minutes to start Raw all the time. It kills it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you have the pre-stuff. Oh, everybody get jumped up and you're going to be on live TV at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now you're going to listen to Seth Rollins talk for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, at 8:30, you're going to bring out R-Truth to try to get us to get back up.
Exactly. And it's not going to...
It
never works. It never works.
I think the 2 hours is going to be great because everything will be cut. I hope they don't cut as many. Listen, Raw only has, 3 or 4 matches a week anyway.
Yeah.
I hope we're not losing wrestling, though, as well in that. I'm on the fence on it right now, Jenks, is where I'm at because I'm a giant douchebag, like I said. I don't like watching it, nor do I watch it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't want the Creeds to lose time. I don't want the women to lose time. I don't want this to lose time. We've seen the 7-minute matches that do not perform well for a long time. I just hope they have everything buttoned up. And I know it's not in their power. They were told they have to go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Netflix, maybe the talks does seem like it's going to be 2 hours because they're not going to have commercial fucking time.
No.
Okay?
It's going to be commercial free. Yeah.
Right. Speaking of commercial free, the first hour of Raw was commercial free. The third hour was 64 minutes of commercials.
Yeah. They had to backload it.
Oh my God. The thing that you've pushed down our throat for 3 months, I had to watch in a 4x4 fucking square.
Yeah.
I did not, Jenks. I'm like,
well, it's not worth it at that point.
No.
Yeah.
I'm very upset with WWE right now.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, they cannot sacrifice storytelling. They can't sacrifice wrestling for the end product, for the hour constrictions. You have to sacrifice some of these elongated storytelling segments. It's fine when it's once in a while, but when you consistently take 20 minutes out to tell a story, it's too much.
Sometimes the same story, though.
The same story over and over again. It's just too much. I mean, AEW and on SmackDown, there's still some hit and miss on SmackDown. AEW's kind of perfecting that market of here's wrestling, here's this, here's the storytelling to kind of enunciate and highlight what the wrestling is trying to solve. Doesn't mean they've gotten it down perfect because some of the time they're just rushing shit through to rush it through. But,
right.
Or just giving Chris Jericho random matches just for fucking.
They have the format. They don't know how to excel on it.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. Where WWE excels on it, they have to take AEW's format.
Yeah.
In trim. My thoughts are, and I think this might make some people angry. You don't see the Bloodline, why can't I think of Liv's group and Dom's group right now?
Judgment Day.
The Judgment Day as much. I don't think these 2 hours, and this is unbelievable because Raw started an hour, and then it went to 2 hours. We never fathomed we wanted 3 hours, and then we're like, it's way too much. I don't think you get the repeats as much because when it's a good story, like we love the Bloodline, and you see them 3 or 4 times, it's building. Listen, the Judgment Day, there's been times they're on TV to eat an apple. I don't care that he's eating an apple right now. And it's not that he's just eating an apple. He's eating an apple because he's at WWEshop.com to tell us he's eating an apple. And that ends up being what could be a 30-second promo to a 7-minute long nothingness.
Do we finish your thought if you need
that
to?
Was.
Okay.
I wanted everybody to linger on that for a little bit.
No, that's fair. I want to throw this out there because I think it's important to call out. To your point about it being commercial free, and then they've kind of cornered the market, I will say, because I think a lot of people are yelling at their audio devices right now, wherever they're listening to us on, well, they have NXT. They've kind of made NXT. NXT has come up, and they've got that perfectly balanced now. The problem is when you move to Netflix, it's straight 2 hours of you have blocked time.
Right.
But I'm going to caution that because I just thought about it. This is also where we see WWE selling ad spots in their products. So they might be promoting something while they're giving a storyline away. We might get a commercial or people fighting over ruffles, and then R-Truth comes back like we saw in Survivor Series. Yeah, exactly. Prime's going to get some spots. There's going to be a lot of that. Let me advertise on my show because that's how we're going to get our revenue dollars in here.
It's going to be what I hate about the pay-per-views that are big pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It will be this match is sponsored by Menon, or this match is sponsored by Skittles, and around the fucking outside, everything is going to be yellow and rainbowy for Skittles or whatever, Right Guard or whatever.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah, it's going to take away from the product that's going on in the ring.
Yeah. What else do you have on? Sorry.
No, you're good.
I took over with that rant.
I think that was a perfect rant. We had the street fight between Wyatt Six and the American Made. It was a good street fight, but
it was.
Yeah, we're through it. Now we're on the other side of that whole rivalry, as you will. So now what's up for the Wyatt Six? What's going to happen? I don't know.
I need them to. I've said this from the first time they got on TV. I need them not to be Loomis. I need them not to be their. And Loomis probably is. I don't know because I'm not looking at stuff like that. I don't want him to be Loomis. I want him to be. I want him to be. I know that Loomis is this character. He's not Loomis anymore. Gacy's not this anymore.
Let them embrace who they've become.
Yes. Probably the best way of putting it. Thank you, Wordsmith.
You're welcome. I was thinking about it. Do you have anything you want?
No.
I'm
just disgusted.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think the one thing I will talk about is, for what it is worth, Gunther, I would have never pegged as Bill Goldberg's number one fan. And I lost my mind when he said that to Bret Hart. But I know it was all in the heel gimmick and all of that stuff, but it was hilarious at the time. You brought Bret Hart in, and instead of going instead of going the typical route of picking Shawn, they go down the Goldberg path, which I think was way better in comparison to it.
Do you think then, because there's talks, and there's been talks for a while, and this is a great way to linger this for a long time, I guess. The talks are Gunther and Brock is possibly always, they want it.
Yeah.
But Brock has been Vince's buddy, and
Mm-hmm.
they want to erase that maybe a little bit, at least for a while. I don't think, and I think you said the same thing, we don't think Brock is done,
Yeah.
essentially. He'll resurface, but stuff's still going on in court.
Oh, yeah.
So
He's not going to resurface for quite a while, I don't think.
was it Goldberg reference to give this motherfucker one more match? He's begging, and he has been begging for one more.
Yeah.
Was it a subtle reference? November is usually a Saudi show, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the money's at. Pay-per-views that they just throw shit together.
Yeah. I didn't think about it, but probably.
How much does that make you throw open your mouth right now?
It's not going to be great.
No. He's on that show. We probably won't cover that show.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it's on at 7 o'clock in the morning. First of all, it's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning Saturday. That doesn't happen in November. Especially if it's when they're playing Clemson or somebody, then I'm on my way down to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
If we get a Gunther Goldberg match, my God.
It's not going to be good. Straight
His
up.
name was brought up for a reason, though. You know that, right? I always be devil's advocate.
I know.
They're the shit.
I know. It was brought up for a reason. My thought was, my hope was that it was just for the troll of it all. But to your point, we've seen with Triple H, he's doing things that are best for business, bringing back Jesse Ventura, getting him signed to a Legends contract, bringing Bret Hart back to Calgary and the Stampede. It's those little things. He's bringing back these legends that would not have come around with Vince in charge. So it's that type of progression with it. So I think to your point, Goldberg could be coming back.
Could Jesse Ventura be coming back on the announce table?
I've heard rumors.
I have too. I have too. I don't know if it's going to be Jesse.
Well, yeah, but especially with it being on things that are pretty much Saturday Night Main Event on NBC, the nostalgia factor is there.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Very much so. All right. Next week, again, as we said, it will be all Ask Can Crushers. Do you have the phone number again, Jenks?
Yeah, 814-299-6687.
Or cancrusher69@gmail.com. Or drop us a DM in any of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, or X. We will answer them on air next week, dedicated to Ask Can Crushers. Again, that's always match, subject to change if something happens this week. That's why we put it here. There's no pay-per-view. There's no predictions. Unless something happens. And it does seem like this week, in general, will be a ho-hum week for wrestling.
Yeah. It's definitely the lull before we start ramping up for Bad Blood and Wrestle Dream in the coming weeks.
So, what do you have going on this week?
This week it is going to go see my sister's new house. Since she got one. Yeah, that'll be nice. And then kind of a calming week for the most part. I think for the most part on our end. How about you? What do you got going on this week?
Spotlights are scheduled to be back this Wednesday. We'll put it like that. Again, you know that the spotlights are always predicated, big word, this late in the show, on the schedules of professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I have 4 set up in a week, and shit just occurs in their lives. My life, their life, everybody's life. Things just got moved around. So hopefully this coming Wednesday, We have one with somebody you've seen on TV a lot recently. Not signed with a mega company yet, but normally once you end up on Can Crushers, you end up being a champion in some fucking aspect on a company. I'm
wrong.
not being a dick.
It's not wrong.
It's factually backed.
Yeah. It's actually, yeah, you're right. It's not wrong.
So I'm just saying, that's what I'm hoping for this week. It's scheduled for Monday, so you guys will get it Wednesday. I will not release it, but she's super excited. Hopefully I'm not staring at a computer for 8 hours every day again. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. Just 3 weekends in a row, by the way, Sir Michael Jenks. On Saturday I will be heading to Pittsburgh. 2 games, West Virginia, and then Youngstown State, which should be a barn burner. And then I am going back down for an autism walk for one of my buddy's kids and to catch a play one night as well.
Oh, nice.
Fancy lad.
Very fancy lad. What play are we looking at?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, worth a shot.
It's actually something about Andy Warhol.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So,
well, he's Pittsburgh native, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. The guy, well, it's the English professor, is in it, and he was asked by, he's going to kill me for saying this. He was asked, what do you know about Andy Warhol? He's like, well, my first recollection was him and Jerry Lawler getting into a fight on professional wrestling.
I mean,
he still got the part. When you have wrestling in your system, only one thing comes out.
Never goes away. Oh, man.
So, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. All right. Love it.
All right, let's wrap this shit show up. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. The ups and downs of what's going on with, it seems like once every year there's a month it's a train wreck with schedules.
Yeah.
Clearly it's August, September this year. Nonetheless, we'll power through. Again, ask Can Crushers next week. Get your shit in. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
You're a garbage can, not a garbage can not. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.